Welcome to the dev stream. Hopefully everything is working. Let's see. Is my video doing okay? Yeah, it's moving okay. Great. Cool. So today, we're going to be working on an app called Loose Leaf, which is an app that I've had in the store for a couple months now. We're going to fix my audio real quick, so that way I don't hear an echo of myself all day. Anyway, there's lots of UIBezierPath stuff that needs to get done. The current version of the app uses a library called DrawKit. And I've been working the past, I don't know, a couple days, couple hours, whatever, to remove that dependency from the app. And so let me show you a little bit about what it does and kind of what we're going to be working on. This is the app itself. I will skip the tutorial. So the app is really easy. It just lets you draw, it lets you cut, and so you can cut any arbitrary shape out of that base page and then move it around with your fingers. And then you can also draw, and it clips to whatever it is that you've drawn on to your scraps of paper. And to do that, what happens is there's the boundary of the scrap is this thing in blue, right? And then every time I draw a curve, there's the Bezier path of the curve, and what I have to do is there's one endpoint, and then like here's a control point and a control point, right? So that's kind of what the Bezier path would look like. And so what I have to do is I have to detect that intersection point and that intersection point, and then clip it so that way this is a curve, this is a curve, and this is a curve. So I've got to chop it into different pieces, and then that way this middle bit can get attached into that scrap, right? So that way when you cut the scrap out, it cuts that path, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what the code currently does, and it uses DrawKit to help with some of that. And over the past month, I've built out a couple of different things, a couple of different libraries. Some of them are actually open source. Let me show you some of those. Where would it be? In GitHub, I guess? Yeah, so there's some UIBezierPath stuff in here called Performance Bezier. Yeah, this guy right here. So this is one of the frameworks that I've built to help handle Bezier paths. And the other one that I'm working on today is called Clipping Bezier, right? It's, where is it? It's this guy right here. And it used to also depend on DrawKit. So it was those three things. It was this guy, the Performance Bezier, which I built myself, Clipping Bezier, which I built myself, and DrawKit. And as I reviewed everything, the DrawKit dependency was actually pretty light. There's not many things that need to get done inside of the DrawKit library. So instead, I'd like to remove that dependency, add a couple of methods into the Clipping Bezier framework, and hopefully just be done with the whole thing. So it says, just got a comment that said, please add rectangles or circles. It's what I've been missing from every app doing sketching or drawing. Yeah, I agree. I've actually thought about auto adding different shapes. I've thought a couple of different ways to do it, so I'm going to go on a tangent real quick. So right now, if you have a blank page, you can draw, but it doesn't actually auto snap to anything. If you draw a reasonably good circle, then it kind of snaps into an oval shape, which is nice. I hope you can see that. I don't know what the resolution is like, but there is actually like a nicely defined oval cutout shape. And I've thought about doing that same thing for squares or for rectangles or for even in the, when you insert an image to have different shape options here. And so that way you could just drop in a circle or drop in a rectangle. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Sharkoon? Where you could drop in a different shape and just say, I want a circle, and then it drops in a circle just like that, and you can move it around, do whatever you want. Right? I think that would be a good fit, a good kind of backup for being able to draw shapes. You could just kind of drop in shapes. But anyway, so let me look here. So I don't need the jot stuff open. I want the clipping stuff open. And the first things first is I want to get this compiling, and I just want empty categories df fix. So this guy right here, BezierPath by trimming from element, BezierPath by trimming from length. Yeah, so we want one more. So anyway, the steps. How you doing, Skip? Just saw your comment. Glad you're here. Yeah, and a really good way to make connections between boxes. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sharkoon. This is all Objective-C. So it's all iOS native Objective-C stuff. So the first step first is I'm no longer linking against DrawKit. It's still in the project just for reference, but I'm only linking against the clipping Bezier and performance Bezier. So the compile issues are all of the method calls that that we don't have yet, that we need to be able to implement, right? And so what we're going to do is look at this guy. This is in, you see this is in the DrawKit project, and so I want to re-implement that method. Turn my volume down just a little bit. Re-implement that method in the clipping Bezier, right? So that way we don't use any of their code, and we can just do it the right way. And right now we have very naive implementations, and by naive I mean broken, that just don't do anything, and that's fine. I just want to get it compiling, and then once we get it compiling, we will we'll start, like we'll probably start with this guy, and then start with this guy, and start with this guy, and just go down the list and add implementations. And then once we have all the implementations, we can run their number of unit tests that I have that we will run and make sure it works. Zaze, yes, or Zaze, yes, it is an iOS application. It is kind of a drawing application. You can draw, you can erase, you can drop in images and scissors, things like that, and you can cut those images into arbitrary shapes, and then you can move different pieces to different pages, and you can draw on them, and it actually kind of sticks to the image. Another cool thing that uses the BezierPath that's going to use a lot of this stuff that we're building now is the ruler. And you can use 2 fingers down and drop a ruler on the page, and then you can just draw anywhere, and it snaps to the ruler, so you can easily draw straight lines. Or when you pinch in, it actually creates curved lines, so you can draw curved lines, which is pretty cool. All right. So it is an iOS application. It's free in the App Store, actually. So the link is in the description. You can check it out. You can download and play with it. And a fair bit of the code is open source, and that's what we're working on today, is trying to open source some of this code. So let's look at this guy. BezierPath by trimming to element and t-value. That's the one we just did, was it not? Oh, by trimming from element. Yep. So this is the mirror of that method. Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's add this guy in here, and then add him in here. Return nil. So we're just getting some, the method, what is this called? Signature, right? So we're just getting the signatures that we need, and we're going to fill in the implementations once we have it compiling. So this is the merge of the 2 of those things. So this will trim on both sides of the path. Those are going to be not terribly fun to write, but I think we have all the stuff, all of the code to be able to do that. Oh, actually, let's, I gotta open that up. Cool. Cool. Okay, what's this one? UIBezierPath by unflattening and immutable. Where do we use this? Calculate intersection and differences between. I'm trying to remember if I actually need to flatten and unflatten. I don't think. Oh, it flattens it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we do. I don't think we need that one. Oh, that's the Ahmed stuff. This is code we should already have, I think. Because this is technically in the Drawkit project, but this is stuff I added to Drawkit later, so it's not really Drawkit code. I should have put that somewhere else. And maybe now we will. So return nil, that's fine. Let's get it compiling, and then we'll figure out where the code is and whose code it is and all that kind of stuff. So now we're doing good. We've got one warning. Anything else? Moderator. Hello, are you actually the moderator? I don't know that you are. Maybe you are. I don't know. Is flat. We also already implement that guy, do we not? Maybe that's in, yeah. Cool. Are we best friends? We are BFFs, you and me. Let's go to, where do we want to put it? DK fix. So this guy here, these two, I think we can actually pull from the Ahmed stuff. I think we can pull that guy out from the Drawkit stuff. Yeah. Because those were not Drawkit code. Turn, no. Cool. There we go. And now, is that the last guy? Is it just this guy right here, the subdivide? I think it might be. Cool, that means we're close. That means we can start writing code. Yes. Yeah, it looks like it's just that one warning. Awesome. Awesome. Making sure that the stream is up and is doing okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, so now we need to fix this last build warning. This guy is built in geometry? No, curve to path element. So that's a static inline. So we can what we're going to do is we're going to, for now, I just want to get it in here. Let's see how we do with that, right? Because this is in the Jot framework, a different framework. And I don't want to resolve those two frameworks right now. I just care about getting the Drawkit stuff finished. So the other thing we can look at is this other last category inside of here that is not, this guy right here is not native to Drawkit at all. This is stuff that I've imported in. And so what I think I'm going to do this should be okay actually just to pull straight over. So that's what we're going to do. And I thought I had already done that, but apparently not. Apparently not. So let's do that. Let's pull this category over. Yes, copy and add in. Great. Great, great, great. And now we're going to add him to our primary framework. Actually, I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi off. Hopefully this won't kill the stream, but this way it'll use my, I'm plugged into the Ethernet. Oh no, I can't do that. I've got to keep it on for other reasons, but hopefully it's using my Ethernet. Sorry, moderator, that the stream is cutting out. Hopefully it's still doing okay for you. So there's that guy. We need to, now that means a couple of these methods are defined in both places. So it's compiling. Oh, the other thing we can do is we only care about building the framework. That way we the entire app every time, right? So now I think work, and then after that, I think we're ready to go to start implementing some of this code. So I'm going to move this guy just down here so they're neighbors. Flattening path, flattening and immutable. Flattening and immutable, so that means these are from Ahmed. And all of the trim methods, I believe, are in here. Trimming to element, trimming element, trimming to, and trimming from. So trimming to element, trimming from, and trimming element. But these are, excuse me, these are not. Okay, cool. So that means that should do the trick, and that way we'll have these can go away. Trimming to, trimming from, and trimming element. Great. Pretty good. Cool. I love it. I think we're doing good. Yeah, you do not need to do that. Instead, you need to subdivide. All right, so we gotta solve the arc problem because a couple of these files still do not want to live with arc. Is that really the only one? That's kind of amazing. I thought there were more files in there that needed this flag. So that flag right there, the fno obc arc, that's going to turn off automatic reference counting for that file, which is good. And now we need to clipping. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We just need to import the correct header file because that is now in that guy, Ahmed. It's named Ahmed because as I was writing a bunch of this code, I came across a guy's paper. It was either, I don't know if it was his master's paper or his PhD, but he did a lot of work on flattening and unflattening Bezier paths. And so a lot of this work is inspired by that paper. Same thing here. Hopefully that's the last bug, or not bug, but compile issue. There's one more. one more in here. Import BezierPath Ahmed.h. Great. This is good. I've been wanting to do this. I've been slowly making this transition for the past who knows how long. I've wanted to do it for a really long time, and I've just never. It's just such a large process to get that framework out. Excuse me. And so it's really nice to finally be able to do that. There we go. Feels pretty good. I think that was the one it wanted, wasn't it? Yeah. It's fine. Let's just get it compiling. So it's going to feel really good to pull out that dependency and to not have to compile in a whole nother framework. We can just keep things nice and tidy. Should be really good. Really good. Cool. So everything builds and succeeds. So we're going to commit that. So I think I need to be inside of, this submodule. And what is the, it's probably just master. No, minus draw kit. Git checkout minus draw kit. Compiles. Great. Cool. Okay, cool. So now the next thing we're going to do is start adding implementations to every single one of these. So I think we can run, do we have tests set up for this? I think we should. Yeah, so we got all kinds of tests in here doing things. So let's do abstract. If we just do the intersection tests, there we go. Right. If we just do that, we should see a lot of failures, I think. We should see a lot of failures because a lot of the code is not implemented yet. And so we should see a lot of failures, and then as we start implementing things, those failures should slowly decrease. So this one's going to be really easy. So we can write a test for this guy to add in two paths. Okay, so the first thing, let's go ahead and talk about this first method that we're going to be adding right here. So what this guy is if we have an arbitrary path like that, right? It's actually made up of a bunch of different subpaths, and so this point right here would be a move to item, and then this would be this whole section right here would be a curve to item, and then a second curve to, and a third curve to item, right? So this has 4 elements in it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 different elements, right? And so what that method needs to do is if you have 2 different paths, like, well, let's do like this path and this path, and you want to add, this guy has 2 elements, this guy has 2 elements, and if I just add that path together, if I just do self append, no, can't you do append path, right? Other path, something like that. What that's going to do is it's going to add both of those elements inside of other path, right? It's going to add both the move to and the line to. So you're going to end up with a path that looks like it's split into 2 pieces. When what we really want is the move to point and then a line to point. So if other path is move to 0, 0 and line to say 10, 10, What we really want is really want just the line to 1010. And so that's going to have, this is our original path, and we're going to ignore that move to, and we're just going to add a line to the endpoint, which is going to add a line to an endpoint, right? So our end path looks like this instead of looking like this, right? It looks like that. So that's what we're going to want to do here. And so to do that, we can do other path, iterate with block. Sorry, I just got a phone call, so I had to turn that off. So we really want if IDX is not 0, or is really just greater than 0, right? Then self. We can actually do import. Import UI. Actually, UI clipping. Can we just import this guy, clipping Bezier? Right? So we're going to import all of our stuff, and then we can do add path element. There we go. Right? So that should do it right there, I believe. So let's make sure we have a test for that, which I think we do. Surely we do, right? We're only going to search inside of our clipping Bezier project. There's a bunch of our categories, and looks like we do not have a test. So let's go ahead and add a test for that and make sure that we're doing things the right way. So the other thing we can see is when we tested our stuff, all of our tests are failing. Well, that one's failing because it just doesn't know what life is like. But this one's failing just because our functionality is broken, and our functionality is broken because we haven't implemented all of our code yet, which is fine. Cool. Oh, frozen. No, I'm not frozen. Okay, good. Good. Cool. So now we want to add in a couple unit tests for this functionality that we're doing. So this is source code. It's a test case. And we're going to call it DK fix tests, right? Does that sound good? Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to have to rename a lot of these tests because a lot of these tests I moved over from the ones that I wrote for the DrawKit framework. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what the name is. It just matters that we have one. Just that matters that we have a test. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to import our clipping Bezier.h. There we go. We're going to write a path 1. And this is just going to be a really simple path that's just going to have a move to and a line to, basically like we just talked about, right? So it's going to start at CG.0, and it's going to add a line to path 1, add line to, point make. We'll add a line to 1010, so that's fine. So this guy is going to have completely different thing. He's going to start at 2020 and he's going to move to 3030, right? So now what we have is, oops, sorry, this is path 2. Path 2. So now we have path 1, append path by removing initial move to. So now what this is going to do is this is going to edit, this is going to append just this element. So it's going to be as if we did that, right? So you're going to have an add line and then a line to and a move to. So that's what we want. And what we can do is we can do xct assert, we'll do that, I suppose. And we can do path1 element count. Element. Maybe that's in performance Bezier. Right? Hopefully I spelled that right. And then this is clipping Bezier. Oops. Feels pretty good. Except it's angry about something. Did I spell it wrong? I did not spell it wrong. So you're only including the tests, which is great. Let's do that. We can add in the framework properly, which is great. Now, why wouldn't this guy be happy about that now? It looks like he is. I think he's happy. Cool. Cool. So now we should have 3. Element count is correct. Awesome. So now if we run this test, it should give us that correct correct element count on that path. Let's find out. Except it's going to complain about. See, okay, why doesn't it? That's frustrating. Why doesn't it have the you want me to do it now? Should be fine. That's frustrating. You know what? Let's do abstract. Oh, come on. What? Draw kit. What is my keyboard doing right now? Right? Are we happy with that? Are we happy with that? We just compiled and ran some tests that linked against these two things, so I don't really understand why this this file in particular is having a bad day. It's a little weird. A little weird. So we're in test. We have our tests are there. Great. Excuse me. Cool. So I think this should be fine. I've extended my base test case that I've used for everything else. And that base test case has worked fine. Linking to and connecting to the Clipping Bezier framework. So this should do the same. Now it succeeds. Who knows? That's bizarre. But there we go. Test example passed. So that's great news. Test append without move to. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're getting the correct value out. Last point.x and last point.y. There we go. So that way we just make sure that not only does it have the correct elements, but the last element does in fact end at the point that we think it ends at, right? Congratulations us. We did it. We did it. Finished. There we go. So that's one method down, which is fine. What's the next guy on our list? Subpaths. Okay, so subpaths, if I remember correctly. So one Bezier path object that's what I want to look at. So I could have a path that has that guy and that path. And even though they're two different circles, that's a circle path and that's a circle path, they're all kind of contained inside of one Bezier path object. And so there's a move to and a curve to and a curve to and a curve to make a circle. Here's a move to with a curve to and a curve to and a curve to. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 for that subpath and 1, 2, 3, 4 for that subpath. So the entire Bezier path altogether has 8, including 2 move to elements. And that's what we are going to want to care about. So here we're going to have a mutable array of our output. And what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over our path. And every time we see a new move to element, we're going to make a new path object, right? So we're going to have a, block, please. This is our subpath object. I like to initialize to nil because why not? So if the type is KCG path elements, if it's a move to, then, no, not an equal sign. Then our subpath is a UIBezierPath. And subpath add path element, right? And if we have a subpath before, then we want to output, we have to add the object like that, right? Like that. There we go. And then same thing down here. And that's what we want. So what this is going to do is we start out with an empty array and an empty subpath. So in the case that our Bezier path is entirely 100% empty, then this will not iterate at all. We will still not have a subpath, and we will return output. Let's say we have one path, so we have one move to element with a bunch of other stuff after it. Then our first item will hit here. We won't have a subpath, so nothing will get added. We'll start a new subpath, and then we'll just keep appending everything after that. And since we haven't added anything yet, after we iterate, it'll add it. And now I think we are good. So I think we're good. So now that means we need a test for subpaths. Yeah, I don't really care about you. I care about you. I want to test subpaths. So if we make a path, this guy has 2 subpaths. So we should be able to ask it for those paths, and we should have 2 of them, right? And then the other thing we can test is that the subpaths are actually correct objects, right? So sub1 is path1 subpaths. First one. Oops. And this is the second one. So sub1, it ends at 1010. Sub2 ends at 3030. Great. And we can also test the first point. This guy starts at 00. And oops. And this guy down here starts at 2020. Awesome. Let's run that test and see what happens. And we might be 2 for 2 on our, yeah, we're good to go. So that guy worked, which is great. So now we have a unit test for that. Feeling really good about ourselves. Wait, what? There we go. Cool. Count subpaths. So we could literally just return this guy. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to create new paths. I only want to count. And it probably won't. I mean, it's not a huge memory hit or anything, but we do a lot of caching and updating and stuff behind the scenes in the performance Bezier framework in particular. And so I'd rather just do as little work as possible. There we go. Equals 0. And so now if we have a subpath count, so every time we hit a move to, all we have to do is increment that guy. And then we return it, right? So we can just piggyback this guy on the other test, on him. This is count subpaths. That should also equal 2. And what are you angry about? You're angry about... Did I miss a... Yeah, you're angry about me. Putting too many brackets everywhere. Okay, cool. So that should be fine. We could also test it with an empty path, I guess, to make sure nothing goes terribly wrong. I don't know why that would have a problem, but more tests is always great. Oops. 2. There we go. Cool. That look pretty good? Yep. Yep. There we go, still succeeded. So now we are 3 for 3, which I like. And now we get into the get push, thank you very much. Now we get into a little bit trickier ones. Trimming from length and the tangent at the start of a thing. This one will be interesting. I think hopefully we have some tests that actually do this already. So let's do this one next, because this one should be easy and I should already have some tests. Do I not? Don't lie to me. Man, maybe I don't. I thought I had tests for that. Apparently not. Apparently not. That's too bad, because I'm not entirely sure what we want to do for that. So here's what I'm thinking about. All right. So if this is our Bezier path, here's our endpoint and our start point. This is our starting tangent to our control point and our ending tangent to our control point. So I can't remember if on this there we go, nice straight line, nice straight line. So I can't remember if I measure the angle from this axis or if I measure it from this axis. And it matters for some stuff, I think. But that's okay, we're just going to pick something. Because we should be able to tangent rounding near start at end. DK tangent at point. So this guy might have a test which is similar. He doesn't have a test either. I'm a bad tester. I'm a very bad person. Yeah. Okay, so this is a good place to test it pretty quickly. Tangent at start of subpath. Draw kit. So yeah, loose leaf is still linking to the draw kit. Okay. Do we have that defined in our no. Okay, that's fine. But that'll actually be really good. A really good test case. I'm a little surprised. I thought I asked loose leaf to already not build against draw kit. Yeah, I did. It's not linking against draw kit. No, it is. It is right there. Let's kill that guy. Let's relink. Let's recompile here in the background while we think about the right thing to do. So what I think we need to do is we first need to figure out what our tangent is, right? Tangent at start. We have a couple different options for how to calculate this. There are a couple different cases, right? So there's the case where it's if it's an empty path or if it's just a move to and then a closed path. That's kind of an undefined case. If we have a move to and then if we have a line to, then our tangent is that angle. We have a move to and then we have a quad curve to. The quad curve looks like that, right? And it has a single control point. And the other one is a cubic, where it has a control point here and a control point there, right? So that is our tangent, that is our tangent, and that is our tangent. And that is, those are our three cases, basically. So we need to look at those first two elements of the path. And we also have a tangent at end. Let's look that guy up, and we will match tangent at end. Yeah, here we are in performance. Here we go. So we can just piggyback on that method. That's going to calculate our angle between those two things with the atan. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Categories, yeah, so performance, Bezier, H, and then this guy is also going to do the clipping. Cool. Why doesn't it? Oh, because it because I didn't move the header into the public headers. It's a protected header. So let's fix that. Process header script. No, we want headers here. Project and public. So this guy needs to be public. That's what we want. Dear MJG, I have not changed my OBS settings. I can pull them up. Dear MJG, I have a bitrate of 1500 and a keyframe of 2. So, I don't know. You can look. There it is. There's my settings. Let me know if I should change any of them. So let's take draw kit off of this guy. We will import, we will import clipping. There you go. So close. So close getting it to compile. Let's take this guy out. Let's replace him as well. There we go. No, I don't want to test. Sorry, that's the wrong button. I want to do this. Okay, cool. So I need to redo that and redo that. That's fine. We're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so now let's get back to our tangent stuff. What I think is the right way to do this is we have tangent at start. No, I'm going to keep it here. I was thinking about moving it to the performance Bezier class, but I'm just going to recalculate it, and it's not a big deal. All right, so let's go here. We have tangent at end, and that is calculated here. Like that. And we're going to take this bit and move it here. And this method is probably private in the performance Bezier class, right? My computer's having such a bad day. There we go. Yeah, performance. We're just going to copy it into here as a little helper method. That's actually the only part that I care about. So there's our tangent. So we have CG point. Let's turn off a few things. Let's turn off QuickTime. Let's turn off the simulator. Let's turn off this thing. Okay, cool. So now life's a little bit better. My CPU is just having the worst time. Oh, come on now. There we go. There we go. Now people have an alternate stream location in on whatever's called on live coding, right? Bam. Bam. Great. Okay. So now what we need to do is we have CG path element. Level 1 is self element at index 0. And 2. Element at index 1, and we have if self element count is less than 2, then we return CG float max, maybe? I don't know. We return, holy moly, why are you asking me for the tangent when there is not one? Okay, so this guy should be a move to element. We can sanity check that. KCG, then we want to CG float max. So that means, let's get this guy out of here. Oops. So point 1 is dot points 0. Awesome. And so now we need to do something different based on the type of element that point 2 is, right? So I guess we could switch on the type. It's not the worst thing in the world. So if it's a move to, what would we do if they had 2 move tos in a row? Can we think? I don't know what we would do. Je ne sais. KCG path curve 2, right? And line 2, quad curve, and a close. All right, so this guy, he's going to have a really bad time. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, point 2 here, add curve 2. This is going to be element 2 dot points 0. These might be the same because the points array for the curves is control points first and then the end point at the end. So 0 is always the first control point in the oops, sorry, this guy right here. In the quad curve case, 0 is the first and 1 is the second control point. So that means actually this is going to be the same too, because add line 2 only has 1 point and that's the end point. So that's fine. That's pretty easy. Easy business. Great. Great, great, great. Oops. We want to go back to clipping Bezier. So now we want to look at a now we want to write a test for that, right? So we're going to test our tangent. So 1010 is like a 45-degree angle, which is what, pi over 4. Test start tangent. Tangent, please. There you go. So path 1, we have start tangent. I don't even remember what we called this guy. Tangent at start. Tangent at start. And that guy is going to be m pi over 4. I believe that's, oops, I believe that's true. Let's find out, shall we? What I think I'm also going to do real quickly is once we get this guy added and the test added, I'm going to switch over to the branch that has drawkit integration. Yeah, so it's negative, yeah. So it's negative 3/4 pi. Right, so negative 3 times pi over 4. Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. But it's divided by times 3 over 4. The number is correct, but the significant digits is different. So I think this guy is less significant. CG float. Float. So why is that? Is that because this guy probably returns a float. I know I want to return a double, so ATAN 2. That's what I want. I edited the wrong one. Yep, I did. I probably edited this one. Yeah, I did. Oops. So there we go. So now we should have the correct guy. Because it was using a float instead of a double, and CG float maps to a man. No, still. What am I doing? CG float maps to a double. On 64-bit, so ATAN 2 should be doubles. So why aren't you telling me about my... Why are you giving me such bad mojo? Okay, so let's go... Oh, come on, just... Tangent at start. This is draw kit. So frustrating. It's finding the wrong file. With this one. Tan 2L. It's long doubles. That's stupid. That's actually stupid. No, it's just not gonna do it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Is it because... No, I don't know. Take that. Cool. Negative 2356194 is not equal to negative 2356194. That's got to be a type issue, right? Is that what's going on? Man, if you know and if you're watching, yell at me because something is I mean, that's the same number. It's the same number and it's the same type. Tangent is a. See, now it's showing me a 2, 3, 6, 1, 9, 4, 5. Is what tangent is. 9, 4, 5. I don't know why you're running that like a million times. There, now it passed. Okay. Yeah. I think it's the error message was truncating it. Even though, yeah, anyway, whatever. This is a type issue. Okay. So, tangent at start is done. And the other thing that I want to do real quickly is I want to move over to DrawKit, which implements that method. I want to look at its tests. Does it have tests? It should. I want to make sure it gets the same. It gets the same stuff. DrawKit does not run tests. That's fine. Of course you don't. Other Cocoa Touch testing bundle. That's what I want, right? Sounds good. DrawKit tests. None. Great. Let's do that. Now we're going to link it with DrawKit. Pretty good. And now we're going to go in here and look at its test file. Make sure it can import DrawKit iOS, DrawKit iOS.h. I want the same test here to make sure that I'm getting the same, that my code gives the same output as the DrawKit code, right? Doing pretty good. Let's go. I can unplug my iPad too. I don't know if that's causing my computer havoc. Unrecognized selector. Maybe it's because I need to do the build other linker flags. This guy. I think I also need to do obc++, I believe. There we go. I never remember these linker flags. That's the other one. Okay, great. Great, great, great. it was complaining about some C methods, and I'm hoping that that was, no, it wasn't. Distance to point of line and Bezier point at T. So where is that guy defined? I thought he was just defined. What? Oh. Did I? Okay, whatever. I didn't follow any definition. Thank you very much. How's that? I do not understand what I was just looking at. Oh, that guy. Distance to point on line. Man, if it's not one thing, it's another. That's what I get for moving all this stuff around. DK geometry utilities. DK geometry utilities. No, it's not implicit because it's defined. Well, it's defined there, but it's defined in some other places as well. It's defined right here. Oh, it's with a capital. CG point, CG point. So if I use that one, are you going to be happy? I don't know who uses it. Okay. There we go. My goodness. How could you be angry about element count? That's... Oh, because that's in... Because you also need to link against performance Bezier, which is right here. That guy. Now you're going to complain about something else. Duplicate symbols. Because of all this stuff. That was the issue. Okay, cool. So now we have our tangent. This guy is a different value. 3.926. So what is that? That's a fourth of a pi greater than pi, right? That sounds like a really terrible answer to give for that. Why would it not be between either 0, because it adds pi. Why does it add pi? That looks like something I would do. No, I want blame. No, I don't have any logs on that line. Why would it add pi? I don't know. So if it can be, so a couple different things are happening, because it's adding pi, but it's also I don't know, DK fix. So it's using that guy, which is fine, but it's I'm getting a negative value from here. So if I add pi, I'm not going to get an answer more than pi, right? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. This is the answer I'm getting. So if I add pi to that, I'm going to get 1/4 pi. I'm going to get pi over 4. So, but it's adding 2 pi to this. It's adding a full circle to that, so to speak. So first one, second one. So it's taking the second one minus the first one, which makes sense. It's taking the control point minus the other point. Am I doing my math completely backwards? I might be doing my math backwards. Yeah, because I'm doing start point minus control point. I need to do control point minus start point. So if I do that, then I will get the same answer. So now I'm going to get, now I am going to get pi over 4. And since DrawKit adds pi to it, for reasons that shall not be known, it's getting pi plus pi over 4. So now this should be complaining about this is going to complain about that should be pi over 4. What? I'm staring at the wrong test. Man, it's that kind of day, you know? You stare at the wrong thing all day and you can't figure out what's going on. Now I would like to run my test. Now it's going to give me pi over 4. That's what I want it to. That's what I want it to do. If it does that, then I know that things are happening the correct way. If you complain that pi over 4 is not equal to this negative 3/4 pi over 4, which is correct, so that's good. So now, in order for it to do the same thing, see it goes to the wrong guy. Now we're going to go to here and to make sure that we return the same answer. We're going to add pi, so now we are the same answer, and they return 0 whenever there's a problem. So I will return 0 whenever there's a problem. And now that method should be correct. Let's run it, and it's going to give us the correct pi plus pi over 4 is what we want. Now I want this guy, please. Start tangent. So now, yeah, it's angry about that, which is great. So that's what we want. There we go. There we go. Now we have the correct answer. Great. Great, great, great. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So we got some stuff. We got some stuff done. We got some stuff done, which is good. We got, let's look. Sorry, looking here. So we got, you can append paths. We got subpaths done. We got count subpaths done. We did not get the trimming stuff done. Subpath index for element. That one will be easy, but we haven't gotten that one done. And length. That one will be pretty straightforward as well. Cool. So that's a really good start. That gets us in the right place. And we also started pulling DrawKit out of being linked from loose leaf, which is good. There's a couple other static functions, or just C functions I'll have to figure out how to implement. But that's a pretty good start. Apologies to the live coding viewers, because something on my stream there is just not having a good day. So not sure what it is. I'll try and get that sorted out for next time. But thanks for showing up, everybody. I appreciate it, and we'll do it again sometime. I don't know, but thanks for watching. Bye, guys.